Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the Getting Dirty Off-Road channel. Got the red-headed stepchild back here, which is currently undergoing its maintenance. You know, that annual thing, whether it's required or not, you know. Anywho, so I've been working on a little video for that, which maybe you've already seen by the time we're talking here. I don't know, but in the maintenance video, you'll see a little bit about this front axle housing, axle shaft seals. They're leaking. U-joint, you know. I've come to decide I should just give you a whole new video. So in this one, we're just doing this front axle, probably just the seals, because it's quite a bit to do in order to change them. See, this manufacturer thought it'd be funny and put them on the inside of the housing, which, you know, I guess you're running less lube that way, maybe. I don't know. But third member's got to come out of the housing, and then the retainers or some other, you know, there's things they twist in there. We need to mark them. You got to be careful. They got to go back like they were, but all of it has to come out the way. Drive the seals out, drive them in, you know, the whole story. But I found another feller on the tube. He explained it. I mean, that guy knows what he's doing. So I don't remember who it was. 2008 Dodge Ram front axle seals. You'll find it. If I could find it, you'll find it. But I thought I would go ahead and do what I could do, even though I don't know what I'm doing. I'll kick one out too, and maybe when you search, you'll find him and me and 15 others, because I'm sure there's that many ways to do it. So, stop rambling. Let's just get it done, all right? Let's go. Okay. So now we're under here. First thing we need to do is take this cover off. Now this steering bar here might be a little too close for this operation. I'm going to try to do it with it in the way, because that's how I do things. If it's too much in the way, then we'll pop it off. But for right now, our first step's going to be getting all these bolts out of the cover. I like to start down here on the bottom, and as you come up to the top, you'll see us crack it and let all that oil out of it. Now these bolts in here, which this cover is, it's aftermarket, I think. And from what I could find for Allen wrench tools, it's a metric in the 6mm flavor. But I noticed some of the bolts have a little spot in there where they've been rounded. And like these ones down here don't really show that too much, but they're just barely going in. Now this one over here, it pops in really nicely. Now, I don't have any metrics on sockets. I think my kid has those, which in fairness, they're his. But anywho, I'm gonna go this route. I like to struggle, so let's do that. But what I'm going to do to try and remedy this is just take my little tapper here. Got it started in its correct position. I'm just gonna force it. She's been forced. And we'll take our break something and get hurt apparatus. And we will rig her up. Whew. It's a little tight. There we go. Ain't nothing to it, just do it. Now, I don't know anything technical whatsoever, so I can't give you guys any technicals here. Just the average dummy in the shop trying to figure out how to make things work because I'm too cheap. So, one bolt out. We'll finish going around. I'm sure you guys don't need to see every single bolt taken out. Okay, now, anytime I do the diff covers, I like to start at the bottom point, go to the next one, go to the one over, till you get to the top 2 or 3. Then, I don't know, if it starts leaking lube on you, it's just helping you out that it's draining while you're still messing around with all the bolts. I don't know why, that's just what I do. I'm pretty sure someone showed me, you know. Dad or uncle, I'm sure. Maybe grandpa, I don't know. Somebody. There's number 2. So, as we're taking this off, I'll move over to this other side like I just explained. And, just keep going back and forth like that all the way up. I may have to go get a socket, metric 6mm Allen. Once I start getting up in here, I don't know if I've got room for danger, but we'll see. So there's number 3 out of it right there. Moving on. Now back over here, I've got this side down where I can just pull this rotor out. It's off and out of the way. They are kind of nice when they separate like this. I think so. I don't know. Personal preference maybe, but that's out of the way. Alright, so now we're down once again, just like the other side. Only this one I do have to get this nut off because I've also got a bad U-joint on this axle. So we need to correct that. So once again, we shall push this pin, straighten it out. Kind of got it back there where it should be, and smack it out a little bit and grab the end of it with your pliers. Screwdriver, cutting torch, grinders, whatever you guys want to use. And then just give her a tug. There it is. Again, but on the other side. Okay, so just so you guys know, on this truck, it's got the big nuts. They're big. 1 11/16 socket. It's probably the only thing I'm going to use a 3/4 inch socket for, at least right now. That's on the drive part of it, I mean. So I just bought a 1/2 to 3/4 reducer hooter. And then I got my 1/2 inch breaker bar here. Now, I don't think it's going to get to the point where I can't break it loose. But it may. I don't know. Right now, my problem is both front tires are off the ground. So, I think what I might be able to get away with is just pulling the old getting dirty off-road lever and locking that transfer case. And I'll either spin this nut off or I will drive those rear tires right off from my jacks and jack stands and blocks and buckets and everything else I got underneath it. Let's see what happens. Is that not going to happen? Come on now. Really? I didn't think this thing was a vacuum locker. I mean, what does it take? What does it take to put that? Oh, well, the drive line is solid, but I got the axle on the other side. Why didn't you guys let me know that? Jeepers. All right, then. I suppose we'll be sticking a tire on that side over there to hold it. Yep. Okay. Alrighty. What I'm going to do here is, since this truck has the bigger brake calipers, it won't clear a 16-inch wheel. but I can get this on the studs. So I'll put this on, jam it against that brake caliper. We'll make sure it ain't gonna turn. Yeah, something like that. Alrighty, let's throw some nuts on there and make this thing grip right. Now, we don't want to get stupid here, but we do want to get it tight. Now, with it like that, I may not even have to let the jack down because it's wedged against that caliper. So I should be able to get that nut loose now. Okay, now that we got that wheel wedged on the other side, let's see how complicated this will be. Well, I think maybe that tire slipped over there. And also, this is probably going to turn into one of those smash my face into something again. Turned it out here a little bit. I don't know. What do you guys think? Something's going to break. Ooh! Luckily it was the nut. That makes me happy. So, just took one fat Terry and it came right off from there. So, we're in business now. Hey you guys! Are you still with me? Yeah, I'm getting pretty bored too, really. Good news, I'm halfway up the cover, getting these bolts off. Just got another bolt out. On to the next one. And another one. There's a couple of these bolts. They were using the wrong size Allen key. I've really kind of had to work at them a little bit to get the right size pushed back into the head of these bolts, but they're coming around. There's another one. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it. Rounded spots inside of there's the wrong size. I know because I did it on that plug back there on the transfer case. You know, it happens. So now that we've got the nut off from there, there is a washer that sits behind it. So we'll just take that guy off, throw it to the side. And another one. I'm starting to run out of room up here with this crossover steering bar, whatever that hootis is supposed to be called. You guys know what I'm talking about. I was able to get it though. There we go. And another one. Okay. Now we're out here, we need to take the hub off. You can see that bolt right back in there. Get my head out of the light. There's a bolt. There's 4 of those guys that we need to get out. Little light on the subject, maybe. Ah, there we go. There's one. Second bolt. That one actually fit in there properly. I think I had 2 of them that it worked correctly. Now we're down to the last 2 bolts. So I'm just going to come out a little bit. So then that way we can crack it open and it doesn't fall. Those top 2 bolts are going to hold her up there. So we're going to do the same thing with this last bolt here. Just out enough that we can pop it open and let the fluid out. This bolt is probably the worst one for being rounded on the inside, for having the wrong size used. But we were able to get it, luckily. Okay, so next we will pop the bottom of this sucker open and probably get sprayed in the face. bolt number 3. There's number 7. There's number 8. So now we can pop that tire off from there. Alrighty, get this tire out of the way. So next we'll take this brake caliper off. 2 bolts on the back side of it. So we'll get these bolts taken out of this guy. Which my pistons are still pushed back into the caliper because I've already had it off once. And here we go again. Practice, practice, practice? I don't know. Now, if you didn't want to separate the caliper from the bracket, you could just do the 2 bracket bolts and take the whole thing off as one. Either way works. I don't know. I've always just taken the caliper out of the bracket and then the bracket off. Okay, so we got those 2 bolts out of that caliper. Now it can come off. Alrighty, so this caliper kind of has a little bit of a kickstand on it. So you've got to lift up and then pull out, and then this top will come out from underneath of this bracket. So like I said, it might be easier to just take it all off as one piece, separate them however you prefer. See, and then this Dodge, if you take this speed sensor out of this little connector, you can just set the caliper right over top of that lower trailing arm, finger, majigger, hoodus, whatever you guys want to call it. It actually sits there really nicely, so if you're not getting crazy, it'll stay there. And then we can take these bolts, they're holding this bracket for the caliper. We can take those off. There's one. Man, I must have been feeling tough the other day. Not so much today. So there's the second bolt. And now this bracket just comes straight off. Set that over there to the side. Now we're down to where we can just slip this rotor right off. Alrighty, so now we'll just grab this rotor here. And it separates from the wheel bearing, the hub, whatever you want to call it. Set that to the back out of the way. And then we'll start taking off the hub. We're going to take the hub and the axle out together. We've done it once already, so it shouldn't be too difficult. But there's 4 bolts on the back. In this case, I only have 3 for some reason. I guess time didn't allow for someone to put the 4th one back, but 3's been holding it. Must have been in one of those flat rate shops where they just didn't have time, or it was Friday at 5. Man, I must have been feeling really strong that day. Alrighty, there's one of them. Whew, definitely felt strong that day. Maybe it's just I don't feel strong this day. I don't know. Okay, there's bolt number 2. Man. And then number 3, which is all we have in this side. Now this one I was able to wiggle out by hand because I've already had it out once. I would say a week worth of driving on it, probably wouldn't be able to. I don't know. Alrighty, we'll take this wheel speed sensor out of the wheel bearing hub housing assembly hoodus thingamajigger. And the reason for taking this out, even though we're like that side, I took the hub off separately. For me, it's just easier to pop that out, then it's not attached, it's not in the way. I can drape it over there so it's not getting damaged. So there's the little bolt for it. So now it's out. work it through our dust plate there, and then make sure we don't lose this little washer hoodus that's on there, but we'll drape it back over there out of the way. Alrighty, gonna grab a hold of it and yank it out of there. Only because I broke it free the other day. I think that U-joint will pass my inspection, which isn't very thorough, but inspected. Okay, so right here, before we do anything to take this third member out, got these retainer clips holding the, I don't really know for sure what you would call them, the races, or I don't know, the preload on the gear pack, the pinion to the ring. Before we do anything, I've got this spring-loaded punch. It's kind of a precision thing for drilling. I don't know. It leaves a mark. So I'm gonna see if this will work. But we want to put mark in this so that we know where we're at. Okay, so I've put 3 little marks up there. Let me see, can you guys, oh, that light died. Well, that's convenient. Okay, can you see those 3 little dots? Alrighty. Then we're going to come over here on the housing itself and mark it. It's not real good there. Not with this, anyways. But nonetheless, I know where it's marked. It's lined up as such that this retaining clip is just about center of this housing. So as long as we use our marks on the nut, we're going to get back to where we belong. Alrighty, and we're going to come over here and mark this other one the same. And that is because we are going to have to remove both of those nuts in order to get at the seals. So we need to mark them and make sure we count rotations and calibrations and equations and, you know, whatever. But as long as we're marked, we might get back to where we belong. Alrighty, so now that I've put little marks on there, I'm going to go ahead and put a little paint stick on it too. Now, this paint stick might not last, which is why the marks are there, because we will clean everything as well, but this will just be a reference for getting this gear package out of the housing, and then we'll go from there. So now we'll come over here and mark this side as well. Dog, you're not helping any. Okay, now that we've got everything marked so we can attempt to keep track of things, go ahead and take these retainer clip bolts out. Well, that wasn't all that tight, actually. Not like I had feared, anywho. See, and these guys, they just go in the top of the cap. They're nothing crazy. And they hold this clip right here that holds that adjustment ring in position. And that way your bearing, your preloads, your whatever's going on in here mathematically stays the way it was supposed to be. Alrighty, now that we have that bolt out, you can just grab this retainer clip chingaleti and just take it right off from there. That's what holds your adjustment nut from moving under normal use. So your bearings stay loaded where they were intended to be. Now that we've got that other side undone, let's go ahead and do the same thing over here. Like I said, not super tight, they're just there to hold the clips in. So there's that one. Alrighty, so that bolt's out of there now. Same thing over here, just pull the little clipper out. And now we're ready to take the caps off. So now that we've got everything marked and our retainer clips off and out of the way, we'll start taking these caps off now. They're just a little bit tight. There we go. So there's one bolt. Alrighty, let's get this top guy out of here. I found my little extension, so I don't have to be quite as scared. Oh, and I just took my pipe somewhere else. Dang it. Alrighty. There's the second one off from that cap. Alrighty. Now I'm not going to pop that cap off from there just yet. Let's go ahead and just get these bolts from the other side first. There's the first one. So we might as well go ahead and get this top one out of there now. And there it is, number 2. Well, got myself a screwdriver here. I don't know why I'm wiping the dirt off. It's just gonna get dirty again. But what I'll do is I'll go inside of the bolt hole just a little bit and just easily, well, that was really easy. Just pop it to the side and then the cap will come out. So I'm gonna take notice, even if I gotta look at this video, this part right here, I mean, I want to keep it the way it came off, obviously, but looks like there's a shelf here that that keeper pin sits down alongside of, so we'll just know that that needs to go out towards the ring. See if I can just do this one with my fingers. Yep, they're pretty easy to do, so don't need to get all crazy with them. Just keep them in order for which side they belong and whatnots, and you'll be fine. Alrighty, so now we've got those caps off. Now we need to pay attention to our marks and special attention to how far we go with things here. So in order to get this gear assembly out, we need to back off this ring. I don't know what you would call it exactly. I didn't look it up, sorry. But anyhow, this ring on each side threads into the housing. To back it off, we need to thread into the housing so that we can get our bearing and race out of the cup in that, so that we can remove the pack. The gear pack is what I'm gonna call it. Third member, I don't know, whatever. So anyways, we've got our marks. We'll come around. Now I just have this thing with a pointer on it, but looks like it's gonna work. So I'm gonna count it out as 1 rotation into the housing. So there's 1 rotation right there. And that is all that it took to get our gear pack out. So now you remember we left this tie rod bar in the way, just trying to be lazy and see if we could do it. So in order to not damage these races, I'm gonna take them off from both sides, maybe. Yep. We'll just set those in our pan down below. So now we need to find out, are we able to do this or not without damaging the bearings as well. And it's heavy. I mean, it's definitely heavy. I should have called my daughter or somebody to muscle that thing around because I'm weak. But there it is. Okay, so I want to keep these races in order, so I'm going to go ahead and set this one back on there just to signal to me which side it's supposed to be on. Now you can see that both of them turned a little bit. So for the moment, I'm just going to put them right back on the marks, remembering that this side is one turn in. Okay, so I think I might even write that down. Because you know me, I'm doing, oh, I don't know, 11 different things. So I'll come back to this in a minute. All right, I think what I might do is set this third member over there in the solvent tank so we can get that out of the way while we're cleaning and beating things, and you know, no sense in having that under here collecting all the dirt that's gonna fall. Alrighty, so now that we've got all of that and it's out of our way, we're gonna go ahead and take these two rings out, which hold your races and preloads your bearings, whatever. Keeps it in the housing, I don't know. But we need to count each revolution. Keeping in mind right now, this one is one into the housing. So we've gone the one back out, so now we need to count each one until it comes out. So it looks like just over 5. I'll definitely have to write that down or refer to video. Thanks for the help, dog. Well, we've got that other one out. I set it in the solvent tank. Let's count this one out. Looks like it's right exactly 8. Okay, you guys hang out down here. I don't have one of those seal puller gidgemagoos, so I'm gonna go down there to the end of the tube and just slide something up against it and pop it out of there. You should be able to see what happens. Better get me a mid-size tapper. I don't think we need a full-on smasher. Well, it's got such a weird taper to the backside that, yeah, well, I'll get it. Maybe it's full-on smasher time. Moving on to a pipe. From a pry bar to a pipe. How's she looking over there, kids? She's just about to blow the center of it out. This thing is kind of a tricky deal. I'll show you the new one, you know, after we get done fighting. What'd we do? Just blew the center out of it? I'm sure feels like it. Let me see. Yep, that's exactly what happened. Boy, these things are special. I probably should have just skipped this part of the maintenance. What was I thinking, you guys? What was I thinking? Well, regroup. Hold the pipe to the side. No? Yes? No? Just broke it some more? That's weird. You guys gonna help me out over there or not? Come on! This is uncalled for! You guys answer me this. How's a regular dummy supposed to take care of this in his own garage? I mean, I never had that problem with the old trucks and the seals on the outside of the housing. Boy, I wish the wind would stop just once! Okay. Calm down now. Well, that one's not going to work either. I got a little bigger pipe, but it's not going to do it. Let's try that. Hey! Congratulations! Now, with my kind of luck, we damaged that surface that seal's gonna sit in. It's gonna leak anyway. And so basically, well, I mean, you've probably seen all the dirt blow out of the end of that pipe. Just some junk I had laying out behind the shop, but we'll get that cleaned out in a little bit. Alrighty, let's beat the other side up. We're not even gonna tap it. We're just gonna go straight to smash it. What's it doing, you guys? Oh, look. Nothing. That's weird. I guess I'm gonna drag out my 10-pounder with the 3-foot handle. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What happened? Oh, hey. Hit my light. Good thing the light was there. The seal did come out. The seal caught the end of the pipe with the light, so I didn't even damage anything on the other side. I can't even believe that. Okay, so that one's out now. Cool. Now, like I said, I'll show you those tapers on the new seals here. We'll probably clean this up first, but I'll show you so you can see why. Yeah, so you can see why it's a pain in the bum. Alrighty, you can see the mess. Now the dirty stuff is just what came blowing out of the end of my pipe I was using. But whatever, we need to clean her up now. So that's what we're gonna do. Now, I went to that Walmart store and, well, you all have one, so you know. But for some reason, and I know things are just not right now. But for some reason, they didn't have my good green hand wash, so I gotta go with the Super Tack. I don't know how this is gonna work. Jeez. Let me wipe the dry dirt out first, I guess. How's about that? Oh, yeah. Okay. Wash on. Boy. Oh, man. Oh, this stuff will gag a guy. I like it. Ooh, that was a chunk of metal-y something. Uh-oh. Boy, I hope I didn't hurt. Yeah, that, I'm not sure. Uh-oh, there's metal pieces in there. Oh, I don't know what those are from. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Whew. Man, I'm gonna have to take in some oxygen or something. Whew. Now, there's some mud back behind the lip where the seals live. I don't know. Don't really know how I feel about that. Now, I'm not really trying to do a product review of any sorts here, but I'm not real sure what to think about this side brand. I'll tell you what I think, which doesn't mean a whole lot, but I think I prefer my green stuff, but there wasn't any on the shelf. Didn't really last very long either, honestly. Good thing I got two. Oh, golly. Let's try the blue towels now. How do they do? Well, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. I think for right now, laying on the floor, it looks pretty clean. So maybe it's okay. Alrighty, while we're under here cleaning, before we start putting anything we don't want a bunch of junk in, I think I'll go ahead and scrape this silicone gray gasket material stuff. We'll get that off from there. I'm not real sure if it was needed on this surface. It had a rubber core gasket thingamajigger, but then all this gray silicone was packed in there with it. I don't know. Looks better than I would have made it though, that's for sure. I've seen this gray stuff before. I think that's a Dodge dealership silicone. I don't know. You know, once knew somebody that worked there, not me. At least it peels off pretty nicely. Well, that's not too bad, I don't think. Doesn't seem like, anyways. Let's use this razor blade here just to make sure that we've got all of the thicker stuff knocked off from there. I think that should do it, really. Alrighty now. If we're gonna make it clean, we might as well just make it clean. I think maybe that pad's blown out. Let me grab another slightly used. Getting across the top of that's complicated. I'm just being picky, really. Alrighty. I know it's noisy. Gee whiz, it's a shop. Anyhow, I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, so I think we'll give her another spritzer just to blow that dust off, and then maybe we'll start putting it back together, eh? Okay, let's get some of this on there again. You know what? I think she's pretty clean. Boy, this stuff is strong. Okay. I think it looks pretty good myself, to be honest with you, so I think we'll move on into figuring out how to get them new seals in there, eh? Alrighty. Now, this is a new seal. You guys see that conical shape, whatever? So that sits in the housing like this, say the driver's side, okay? You slide your axle shaft down the tube, hits this cone here, which directs it into the center of the seal and into your spider gear, okay? When I was trying to push them out, I kept hitting this cone here. It was basically just trying to push it down the center of my bar and anything I tried. So I just got a pipe. It was a little bigger than this. And the first one was a little too small. It was bigger than this, but too small. So it just blew the center out. And then it finally broke this away where I could actually get a bite on this seal and get it pushed out of the housing. A little bit bigger pipe. We got it done. Got it done on the other side. But this cone right here was what the issue was. So now we're going to try to figure out how to tap her back in there. Hopefully without causing issues. I don't have a seal install tool. I don't know if it would help or not, but we'll see what we can do here. Okay. I'm just going. I should probably wipe that off. Yeah, let's. Okay. Now, like I was saying, I'm just going to see if I can use my little tapper and tap it in like I would any other. I'm not sure about that though. Yeah, so I don't like that. Mostly because I keep hitting the cone on the seal itself a little bit. Plus I'm right close to those threads, so I don't know, you guys. What are we gonna do? The old seal, maybe? I don't know. I don't like that either. So, let me have a look. Okay. I think I might have a solution here, which is a big old socket. If you don't know what this is, it's I think spindle nuts on the rear end of a Ford or something. I'm not sure. These wheels on this creeper, boy, they are annoying. Annoying. So let me know if I get in your way, okay? Well, I think I officially hate this job. It's pretty awkward. I don't know. I just don't know if I like that. Boy, that one's just, I don't know. I'll bet you one of those seal install tools would help. Better answer the phone. Apparently it's dinner time. And that's good, because I'm kind of hungry. But we better get this done. Oh boy, we're almost there. All I want to know is, who needs one of those seal installer tools? Just wasting your money, you guys. Okay. Alrighty, everybody, get up in there and judge me. How'd we do? No, that's not working. Dark? No. Light at the end of the tunnel? Come on. What do you guys need here? I think it's, well, it's probably just how it's going to be for me. Well, might as well get that other side in before I quit for the night, huh? No, this has actually worked out pretty good. I'm actually just sliding my little ball peen hammer around the edge and then whacking it, which, making sure that I'm giving it even hits as we go around to keep it walking in there straight, but it's actually worked out pretty decent for the amount of space that we have here, and was able to get them in there really. I like it. I think we're probably going to go with that. Feels like it's good and even all the way around. Not going to complain. We definitely do not want to whack on those threads. That would be a nightmare. So I'm going to say the seals are good to go. Now hopefully they last longer than that one back there on the transfer case did, because that was, I wasn't kidding you guys when I said it was going to go out in about 8,000 miles, and I think that's probably pretty close to when it started leaking again. Makes sense. Alrighty, now we're over here with the dreaded part of doing anything. Cleaning parts. So I'm ready to start putting things back inside of that housing. So we'll start with this funny nut. I don't know what you guys call these things. I'm not really too worried about what they're called either. I just need to call it clean. Now, as you can see, the paint mark just came off. That's okay. That's why we dimpled it. I will just remark it after I get it good and clean. It's better to have good clean parts putting things back together, especially internal parts, because then you know when you're done you didn't put a bunch of dirt and whatnots in there that's gonna tear everything up. So nice thing about the inside of that front housing is it was pretty clean. There was some metal silvery look to the oil as it came out, but overall it was clean, so it doesn't take a whole lot to clean these parts up. Just give them a good clean, dry them real good, and stick them back in there. That's pretty well it right there. I don't see any damage in it. Everything looks really good, so once it dries off, we'll remark it just to make it easier for us. There's my little dimples. I don't see any other kind of markings from somebody else, so that's even better. Just cleaning my life away. Better get my hands too. Golly. Messing around with other stuff. You guys know how she goes. Like I said though, internal parts are a lot easier to clean, so it's not too big of a deal really. You guys guessed it. We're still cleaning. Now these are the bearing races. This is what your bearings ride on inside of your housing. So make sure these are clean. We will check them to make sure there's no gouges. Everything's smooth inside of here. And then we can trust them to continue doing their job. Which feels like everything is nice and smooth, really, so that is good. Oh, you know, washy washy. This one feels like it's really smooth and good to go as well, so reuse it. Good enough. Okay, so as I start putting this back together, I was thinking maybe I'll do a little bit of this, which is old, but still works. A little bit of this luber plate, and I'm just gonna put a little light coat on this seal right here. And the reason I'm doing this, in my mind, is so that when I slide the axle shaft back in there, I have just a little tiny bit of slickum on there so that my splines on my axle there will just slip right through it pretty easily, and then it should seal up just fine and be ready and good to go. Alrighty, now that I've cleaned these up good, there's my mark, so I'm going to go ahead and do this just to help us out. When I screw it back in there, I can see that better than the little dimples. So there you have it. Alrighty, so now I think I need to mark this right here since we washed those off again. It's not a super big deal, but I need visual aids, you know. So got my little dimples I made. Looks like right there. Alrighty, so now we will screw this retainer thingamabobber in there. which as we came out was pretty much right at 8 turns, right on the mark. And there we have it, right back to where she was. Alrighty, so just to give you an idea here, this is the race. It goes around the bearing on the gear package. The back side of it sits against your adjuster, and then your cap goes around it to hold everything in place. So the adjuster moves these in and out for how much preload is in the bearing, for how far into the pinion gear the ring gear gets. So that's where that belongs. Alrighty, now we're going to take this other ring for the driver's side of this system. There's my marks right there, so get our paint stick on there so we know where we're going. Alrighty, we're going to do the same thing over here, just for a quick reference mark. So right there's where I had my little dimples. Now we got a line so we can tell what's going on. Alrighty, so I've got this adjuster ring put back in there, but I forgot to put a little grease on my seal in there, so I better do that before I get too crazy in here. And again, I'm just doing this so that when I slide that axle through, it's got a little bit of a lubrication and hopefully doesn't tear the seal on the reassembly, which is more so just me being fruity, really. So it's probably not necessary, but I just wanted a little on there so that it could slip through and hopefully there's no issues. Alrighty, so now we're just cleaning up our hardware and such to go back up inside of the housing there. So hitting the solvent tank. Well, still finding pieces to wash. Yeah, that needs to be. Alrighty, this is the last bolt to get in the tank. Now we need to start cleaning and getting everything out of the tank. Alrighty, let's get this gear package cleaned up. Need to get it out of here, dried off. We need to, we need it back in the truck. That's what we need. Now I did see some little pieces of metal in the housing, so I'm going to be real cautious, looking really close for that. Maybe it's from something before, maybe it's all from this. We'll find out. Well, the good news is I did not see any broken chips or anything on this, so what I did find in there might have been from something that happened before. I don't know, unless maybe it's all from the clampulators that go around the bearings. Maybe, I don't know. But at least this is cleaned up now. We can get it out of here. It's been in the way for weeks. Alrighty, we got it over here drying. Better flip it over. Yep. Just let it drip and air dry there for a minute. I don't know, maybe I'll hit it with some compressed air and whatnot, get it out of these bearings. Well, I figured since I brought this new workbench into the shop, I'll just move my front end parts over here, I guess. Let them sit and dry, and well, really it's not too bad, but I might still hit a little air on things, but once again, I didn't find any broken chips of anything anywhere, so whatever little piece was in there, I'm not sure how. Maybe it was left in there. I don't know. But this is pretty clean. It's just about ready. Hey, I know it's another day, and we're probably never gonna finish here. But I can see you guys. You're falling asleep on me, aren't you? Aren't you? cold. I should be in the house snuggled up too. But winter's back, so I probably need to put this back together so that I can dig my way to work and back. Anyways, hey, you know what? I think it's time to crank it up. Let's get it done. Alrighty, you can turn it back down now. We're probably gonna get back into some music, but for the moment, let's go ahead and stick all of this stuff together. So right here's our race for this side. Got the other one over here, just kind of hanging out. Get that one on there, and then somehow you just somehow like that, you just gotta get her back up in there where she mashes up with the pinion, and then we'll roll this adjuster nut, I guess, roll it back out one turn to take up the slack. Alrighty, so we're gonna follow our mark and come back out the one turn that we did in order to get this assembly out of the housing. Just any old screwdriver, something that'll fit in the hole, is gonna do you just fine to get it to roll out for you. Actually, I thought maybe this little cheap cheesy one would do it, but we've come up to where we're pretty tight. I do want to get the full turn because that's how it was, so something just a skosh stronger than that little guy. We want it to be clean. I mean, after all, we spent all that time making everything clean, so let's wipe the shop dirt off. Just got our Allen wrench here, and well, that one's a touch too big. That's weird. Okay, what did I have before? Come on, you guys, I don't remember. It's been a while. Alright, fine. Got a little bit better screwdriver. Oh, we're so close. Come on now. Okay, right there. That's where she lived before. So that's where she's gonna live now. I did my counts, I'm sure I'm right, so I guess if it burns up, I'll know it wasn't. Okay, so now we'll stick the gap in there. Remember that this ridge piece right here goes towards the outside because that's where our clip to hold our adjuster nuts are gonna ride so that it can't turn on us. And it just sets up in there like that. Use a little bit of the wood end of our smasher and just make sure it's in there all the way is all. Really didn't move it, but there it is. And we just stick the bolts in it. Easy as that. There's the top one. And we'll twist this guy in the bottom one. Just like that. Alrighty, so now we will take our little retainer piece here. We'll come up here onto the adjuster nut. See that it fits on both sides of this piece right here to keep it in line. And that's where it lives. Alrighty, and then you got this little retainer bolt for your retainer clip. We'll just screw that right back in there as well. Just like that, we got one side done. Alrighty, we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Keeping note of our little tab to hold our retainer clip, goes towards the outside. And so there is that. It's all exactly the same as the other side. Except that wasn't in the right spot to get the thread. There we go. Okay, there's one. And the bottom one. Must have had some junk in those threads. Just a little bit tighter than the other three. That's okay, just drive her on home. Works like a Loctite, you know. Ooh. Yeah, she got a little bit tighter than the fingers. Oh yeah, there we go. Come on, just chew it up. Alrighty, there it is. And again, just like the other side, got our little retainer piece. Just find a couple of holes for it to be in, and there it is. Okay, got our little retainer bolt. We'll stick that in there. Alrighty, so all of my bolts, my caps, everything's back in here. What I'm gonna do now is look up torque specs for the bolts, because that's probably one you should torque to spec. But I'm gonna look that up, see what it is, and then I think what I'll do is probably crank up that music, get this all torqued down, and go back over that way. Do some cleaning and reassembling while you guys are jamming out. So, here we go. got all my bolts inside the housing torqued down. You guys watched me wash this, scraped it off, washed it, sprayed it to dry it. I did that so that if it starts leaking again, I'll be able to see it. Didn't really see much in the tube itself, so I'll keep an eye on it. But right now we're getting the bolts back in her. Get this wheel bearing tightened down so that we can get back to business. Alrighty. Again, this side only has 3. To buy them from the parts store, you got to buy all 4, and I wasn't interested in the price of that, so I think I'll have a look other places and whatnots. But 3 was working before, so why won't it now? So I did find the torques for those cap bolts. It looked like it was 85, so I did it 2 steps, 40 and then 85, I don't know. These bolts here, I'm just giving them all the torques. We're gonna get them good and tight. Basically, we're going on the shoulder pop setting. Okay. It's up in there nice and flush. The 3 of them are tight, so I like it. Okay, we'll move on to the rest of this bracketry and such. Okay, for my next trick, I'm going to go ahead and put this wheel speed sensor back in there as it should be. Okay, battery switch. It is a little cool out here. So yeah, I got that sensor back, pushed back in there. Now I'll put the little bolt in there. So I think what we need to do is crank it up again. So you just watch me speed through the other side. It's waiting for my new tire. This side we did a little cleanup so far, and this is the one we need to do a U-joint. Now, I ain't got no press, but I do have a big smasher, block of wood, and a Taiwan socket that's almost finished. You can tell it's done this job before. So, all I usually do, and some are better than others, but usually usually about all I do is get on that edge of the block of wood and whatnot and go to baiting on it. I was looking at, they all had a clip. I was trying to make sure they didn't have that plastic stuff in there you're supposed to melt out. I don't know, but anyways, she is not interested in moving. Thinking a press might be real nice right about now. Oh, no, couldn't have. It might be moving. I know. Tone her down a little bit. I don't know. We don't need all that excitement. Wow. So I wasn't squared up on that one. It shot over there. It hit the wall. Ooh, actually, I think I might be able to see where. And it came flying back at us underneath the truck over there. I didn't say it was a safe way to do it. Alright, let's roll it around a little bit. See if we can just work at them a little bit here. Man, that socket might be quitting on me. I might have got this one to move a little bit now. Yeah, if I keep that up, I'm gonna damage something. Well, I don't know where that one went, so we're gonna have to sacrifice a new. Oh, it's just a cheapie, don't worry. Aww. I wonder how many times I can make it in there. Boy, she don't want to budge tonight. Well, let me try a little bit of heat maybe. Now, I got a torch over there. I would recommend, of course we can see my caps are blown out. But I did this one time on a little Ford Ranger front axle. Threw a torch at it. That grease in there decided to get hot, swell, boom! Blew a cap out right into my arm. Didn't feel good, but it was effective. I don't know. Let's see. Man, I should not have left that socket on there. It's hot. Oh, now it's greasy. Well, I'm just about gonna have to probably go find a dang vise to get this situation under control. Vise, press, something. Something. One more little trick. Maybe, I don't know. Little blaster around this cap. See if it can slide down in there. Of course, it's absolutely fantastic when it's hot. We're getting to making bullets again. I'm gonna have to go find a dang press. Just, it ain't gonna work, I don't think. I don't think it moved. I'm seeing things. Well, I tell you what, this ain't doing it. So, I think I'm gonna have to go find a press. Sometimes it will, most times it won't. Alrighty, since this U-joint's got me postponed, I think, well, I know I'm gonna have to wait till tomorrow, earlier in the day. Got a friend, he works at a place, got a press. We got a press where I work too, but it's a ways over there just to press a U-joint, so probably ain't happening. So I think, wait on that till morning. Might as well start getting this cover cleaned up, don't you think? So here's the gasket. I think these are reusable. I don't know. Ain't no sense in damaging it though, so I'll stick it over there and wipe it down, and yeah, it'll probably get reused. We'll see. Alrighty, so went into my friendly Napa store last night. Got myself a new U-joint. While I was there, they let me use their press. It was sketchy. Okay, so now from the other side, the short shaft side of it, pulled these caps off. And there's a little bit of grease in there. I mean, it's not great, but there's a little bit in there. And then this other cap, which is straight across in that short shaft, still had a little bit of greasy in it, but not much. Now this U-joint is one of those sealed things. There's no way to grease it, so it was gonna fail no matter what. But my new one, she's got a grease cert. Probably never grease it, but there we are. Okay, and then like I said, you know, this was in there like that. You gotta press each cap out both ways like you saw in the video. But yeah, that's how you get them out of there. Now, as tight as those caps were, there was no chance I was beating it out with a socket. But while I was at the friendly Napa store, a friend of ours works there. Really, they're all friendly. But anywho, he grabbed onto these, threw them in the old sand blaster, bead blaster, the cabinet. And he cleaned the inside where the U-joint caps go. He cleaned the splines on the ends of the both pieces, and well, we ought to be able to slip the new one right in there. Alrighty, so step through this a little bit, putting this new U-joint in there. Got the Pro Performer, the old Napa special. I like those guys. This one here in town, they treat us well, so it's worth it. Yeah. So the first thing I'm gonna do is try not to ruin this while I'm doing it. But anyways, let's just take this one cap off. Make sure that none of your needle bearings were stuck to it, whatever. Make sure they're all in there properly. Just set that back to the side. And then right now, we're just gonna line this cap. You know what, that sucker, it almost went all the way in there already. So I'm not super concerned right now because it's not going all the way through. It's, you know, it's not wallered out to the point where it's not gonna hold, but that's something I'm gonna have to keep an eye on. That shaft might be getting a little wallered out of that hole there. But anywho, that's my first step. I'll start my cap on the bottom side, to which I have it sitting on the block, and then we'll go from there. Then our next step, we'll take the cap straight across. Ooh, she had a pretty good suction, but all the needles are in place, which is good. So just take that off, set it to the side here. Alrighty, then we're going to take our joint itself, We're going to pay attention to our grease zerk. It's kicked off to one side a little bit, so what I want to do is direct that towards the back end of the long shaft, which, if I ever decide to grease it, might make it a little easier to get to. So, since I want to keep track of where that is, I'm going to put it in the cap, which is up too far for us. Okay. Now, I have needle bearings trying to move on me, dang it. So we'll just set that there. We don't want to get dirt on the greasy parts. Get all those needles back in line there and we'll be happy. Okay, so we'll poke that through now. Get our cap going on it. And then it's together. All the needles are in order. My grease zerk is pointed towards the back of the long shaft, which just, if you decide to grease them, you can turn your wheel, get access to it. It should be a little bit easier if it's pointed towards the back. That's all. Okay, now that we've got that set into the one cap, since my cap seems to be a little bit loose in there, I'll go ahead and take a hold of it. Rest on that side cap there. We'll take this other cap. Now we want to make sure that we're not causing any sort of bind side to side, but take this cap and get it started. And basically, essentially just roll it all the way over. And I thought I had a needle bearing in the way, but I guess I was just being a sissy about it. But go ahead and push your U-joint, the shaft of it, all the way into the cap. See, now we know all the needle bearings are still in there correctly. Even though you've come out of this other cap, they'll stay in there as well. So that'll be just fine, just like that. Okay, so now our next goal is to get a clip on this cap here, which it comes with new clips, which is good because one of the others broke. But anyways, we're trying to get this in there and we're not ready yet. So, purpose of me doing it this way on the floor with a block of wood and my junior tappet is to just tap it in there. Now this side actually concerns me just a little bit because it's moving pretty easy. That's actually down there now where we've got our groove exposed. So we might as well go ahead and stick that in on this side. Just kind of a spring clip, so just find your groove and pop it in there. And then I always like to make sure that it is all the way in there, all the way. Give it a good inspection. And then we'll just roll her over for this other side. Okay, I've already done the tap it in there. It wasn't too difficult. Although I got down there pretty close and it was trying to bounce back out of the hole, so I had to get pretty gentle with it. I think I got the clip started. Seems like. Give her a tap. Little screwdriver to make sure. Alrighty, looks like it's in there. That actually drove it the rest of the way in, so good to go. Check this one here real quick. Alrighty, so now we're fit back into the long portion of the drive axle. Okay, now we're just gonna do the same thing in order to put the little stub shaft in there. Take these off nice and gentle, make sure the needles stayed. Set it to the side. Alrighty, so I got snagged up on my friendly Napa store U-joint. I don't know what's going on, but I could not get it in to this stub shaft, whatever it's called. Anyways, I think it's the design of the body of the U-joint. So I'm talking this design right in through here. So I had to work today. It's New Year's Eve. Asked wifey to go to town for me and point out the fact it would not work in here at my friendly Napa store. But as most friendly Napa stores are, they were closed today. It's New Year's Eve, you know. So don't tell them, but I asked her to go over, you know, the other parts store. And she got me this one. Now let me look from your guys' side of things. Can we see here? I know it's got plastic on it. This one, she's pretty beefy. She's got a lot of meat in the center section of this joint here. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and open this because I'm pretty confident it's gonna work. Now, as you can see, not quite as meaty here. Maybe not as good either. I don't know. It says it's precision, you know. But anyhows, there's the difference. On this is the one she got today. This is the friendly Napa. I'm gonna see if this one will go in there. I think there's just too much here for it to get in that. So we're back to square one essentially, but that might be okay. Let's find out. Now this one does accept a grease cert as well. So we'll line that up for the long shaft just because that's how I want to. So let's take this one here off, and we'll take this side here off as well. So now what we want to see slide into place. Oh yeah, there it is. So I don't know, it's probably wrong, but at least this one fits up in there. So I'm gonna see if it's all gonna work out okay. We'll go ahead and stick this cap in as well. All right, slid my joint both ways. All the needle bearings are in properly. So, looks like I'm probably gonna go this route, and maybe I'll shelf that one. Maybe I'll take it back, I don't know. It wasn't cheap, but it wasn't expensive. So, I'll decide later. Alrighty, so now that I think we might be in business, I'm gonna go ahead and give this the what for and make sure that it fits this way tight with the caps all the way in position. So I like to just use the little tapper, take it easy getting them in there. And then I'm just watching for my groove where my snap ring rides to hold it in. I'm just watching for that to become exposed enough to get a clip in. Looks like that cap is in there far enough, so I think that might work. Alrighty, so we went to that the other store, and their U-joint is cast a little bit different through the center, so I was able to get it into my stub shaft here. So now I'm just getting the two of them mated back together. Just take that cap off and now we're ready. Alrighty, got them paired back up. So I know you've already seen this before, but let's pop this cap down there. Okay, looks like I'll be able to get that snap ring in there. We'll spin it around and do the same thing, and then we'll put the little grease stud in there, and then we'll get it back in the truck and yada yada yada. So I think what we need to do is crank it up, eh? Alrighty, so to interrupt your music for a minute, we're gonna get down to getting this finished up, okay? I know, I'm not really a closer, but we're gonna have to close this one out. So right now I'm just getting my brakes put back together. Which is fairly straightforward. I mean, we're just go the opposite of what we did to get them apart. And I'm trying to hold my rotor in with my knee because, well, you know, everything's loose. So I'm trying to do that and get everything back in its little grooves it should be. You know, the bottom's got to go inside. The top has a little groove it gets up in there with, but not too bad to do, really. So just wanted to say hi. Yeah, interrupt the music. You know what? Crank her back up. Let's jam it out. All right, there was some rambling done, you know, in that last little bit of a clip. But this camera, I'm telling you, it's just a good thing that I like wasting time. And, you know, the camera is basically just giving me something to do, keep me out of the house. But I'm really getting tired of it not cooperating. I mean, does it have to be like 61 degrees all the time for it to work, or what's going on? Come on, support. Anyways, yeah, back to it. So basically what I was saying and rambling that you missed, that you don't care, I got the caliper on there, so why don't we just crank it back up? You guys enjoy the music. Let's fast forward this process. It did it again. Cut to the chase. We're going in fast forward. Crank that music back up. Hopefully I don't get too angry with the camera. Nah, I'm just gonna ignore it and hope for the best. Crank her up! everybody. Got that front axle seal replacement job all taken care of. She's full of lube, ready to roll. So that's going to do it for this video. Got to finish up some maintenance activities over here, but then we'll be heading back down the highway. So that's taken care of. Appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully I was able to help somebody out. I don't know. Looks like there's all kinds of good information as far as these front seals go. So dig around a little bit. If I didn't satisfy your needs, I'm sure somebody else will. But appreciate you hanging out. I, as always, am thrilled that you guys are watching. If you've made it this far, if you could, you know, subscribing. That is the cool thing to do. Helps me keep going. Basically, if we're telling the truth, it keeps me off the couch. So I appreciate you guys clicking that button down there, throwing out a comment, hitting the like, sharing it with your peeps. You guys know I could probably dig up some more of the kids' lingo, but you know, I ain't got time to try to figure out what they're all saying. But appreciate you guys being here, and I'll catch you next time.